Elizabeth Báthory, a name synonymous with horror, emerged in 16th century Hungary as a countess accused of committing unimaginable atrocities, torturing and killing young women, primarily targeting peasants and servant girls. Her reign is filled with unspeakable nightmares. But amidst the terror, there was a chilling twist: no physical evidence, no witnesses to tell the tales, and, curiously, no bodies ever found. Picture this: a powerful noblewoman living lavishly in her castle, whispers of horror drifting through the streets. She was revered by some and feared by others. But with each passing day, suspicions grew, shadowing her once illustrious name. The accusations against Elizabeth were grotesque. Rumors of blood rituals, elaborate tortures, and young women disappearing echoed through every village. But every time authorities attempted to gather proof, there was nothing. Like a ghost, she slipped through their fingers, taunting them with her cunning. Was this witchcraft or mere madness? As Elizabeth's wealth and power insulated her, the whispers soon morphed into accusations, each more outrageous than the last. She bathes in the blood of virgins to retain her youth, the townsfolk exclaimed. But behind it all, uncertainty reigned. Could one woman wield such evil? Could one countess truly commit such monstrous crimes without a single trace? Days turned into weeks, and still, no bodies surfaced. Families grieving for their missing daughters were left unanswered, while Elizabeth continued hosting extravagant banquets filled with laughter, a chilling mask over the lurking shadows of her alleged actions. But just as the townspeople prepared to accept the status quo, a shocking twist erupted out of nowhere. One night, a brave and desperate woman, Anna, who had narrowly escaped Elizabeth's clutches, came forward with a story that would change everything. "I was taken. I saw the girl before me, tied and bound," Anna exclaimed, her voice trembling as she addressed a gathering of concerned villagers. "She promised me she would help. But when I woke, she was gone." Gasps erupted among the crowd, and the air thickened with fear and suspense. This woman was the first to tell a coherent story about Elizabeth's alleged Lair, the castle's hidden chambers where horrors awaited anyone naive enough to trespass. The villagers rallied together, determined to confront the truth. But just as anger lit the torches, Elizabeth's loyal followers, an elite guard known only as the serfs, came forward, denying every word. "She is a noble, a good woman," they yelled. Doubt crept back into the hearts of the gathered masses. But the villagers would not relent. They demanded the authorities take action. Eventually, with growing public outcry, a local magistrate reluctantly agreed to investigate the castle. But upon arrival, they encountered a shocking inconsistency. The castle was magnificently maintained, boasting lavish decor that only a wealthy noble could afford. There were no signs of distress, no lingering sense of terror. Everything felt like a theater staged for deception. Days passed, and investigators scoured every nook and cranny. But with each room they searched, they only found fleeting impressions of elegant silks and fine wines, but no evidence of the unimaginable horrors whispered about in the villages. Then came a break. In the depths of the castle, hidden beneath false walls, the magistrate discovered a chamber, a room unlike any other. Thick with dust and silence, it felt like stepping into a forgotten tomb. And then, right there on a pedestal, lay a bloodied gown. "This is it," one of the guards bellowed, eyes wide. "Proof, she can't escape this now." As they examined the garment, however, an unsettling realization washed over them. The gown was of a style long out of fashion, too old to be connected to the recent disappearances. Where were the recent victims? And why had they never shown up? It was a déjà vu, as if something sinister was amiss. Suddenly, an eerie sound echoed from within the castle's stone walls. It was followed by muffled cries. The investigators shot each other a look of disgusted horror. "What is that? What's happening here?" They rushed towards the sound, their hearts pounding in their chests. The ominous atmosphere enveloped them, pushing every instinct into high alert. And then, in a dimly lit room, they found the key ****, a secret door, the jar flickering with human movement. "Open it," someone shouted, adrenaline racing through their veins. But as they pulled back the door, what lay beyond rocked them to their core. ***, a room filled with young women, emaciated and terrified, yet painfully alive. ***, illusions shattered before their eyes as the truth unveiled itself. These were the missing victims. But the horror didn't end there. Among the captives stood Anna, the courageous woman who initially spoke out. "I tried to save them," she pleaded, desperation and anger blending in her tear-streaked face. "She was going to kill us all." The magistrate and his guards exchanged terrified glances, fighting the urge to flee. But just then, a cruel laughter rang out in the shadows from deep within the castle. It was Elizabeth. "Fools, you think you can save them? I am their fate. You have no idea what you've walked into," she mocked as she emerged into the light, an unsettling smile on her lips. The air thickened with menace as Elizabeth turned her wicked gaze toward the captives. The tension was palpable. This was the reckoning. But just before they could act, a shocking twist unfurled. Elizabeth revealed she had been running a covert operation all along, a dark business trading fear for riches, using the beauty of the young women to lure powerful men into her dark world. "Welcome to my palace of horrors," she sneered, glancing at the terrified faces in the room. "You wanted evidence. You'll find more than you bargained for." In the dimly lit chamber of her castle, Elizabeth Báthory stood poised, a wicked smile on her lips, as the realization crashed over the investigators like a tidal wave. They had stepped straight into the lair of true evil. The young women cowered behind her, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and resignation. This was no simple investigation. It was a descent into the heart of darkness. "Welcome to my palace of horrors," Elizabeth taunted, her tone dripping with mockery. "You think you've come to save them, but you know nothing of my plans." The magistrate, heart pounding, struggled to process the chilling revelation. "What have you done, Elizabeth?" he demanded, voice shaky yet resolute. Elizabeth simply chuckled, stepping into the light, revealing a gown that seemed to glow eerily. It was adorned with rich fabrics, but what shocked them most was the crimson stain smeared across her sleeve. "I know your secrets, and now you shall know mine. This isn't just a game. This is power. These women, they're my leverage." Every word dripped with malevolence. Ken, the survivors behind her, shifted uneasily. Anna, the woman who had dared to speak out, stepped forward. "This isn't power. This is sick madness." Elizabeth turned her gaze to Anna, her smile chilling. "Madness? Oh, how little you understand. I will not only preserve my legacy but ensure it thrives. And you are all part of my glorious tale." The tension thickened as the magistrate tried to regain control. "You can't keep them here," he asserted, his voice cracking under pressure. "This will end now." But Elizabeth only laughed, a laugh that echoed ominously throughout the chamber. "You think mere words will stop me? You don't even know what you're up against." The sinister undertone in her voice sent shivers down their spines. Even as the group tried to formulate a plan, they were unaware that the true threat lurked just outside the chamber, a realm of allies intent on maintaining Elizabeth's grip on power. Just then, a gut-wrenching scream pierced through the castle walls, echoing like a harbinger of doom. "What was that?" shouted one officer, eyes darting nervously around the room. Elizabeth leaned back, relishing in their terror. "That, my dear intruders, is a reminder that my circle of protection is vast. Run all you want, but you will find no escape." Barely able to breathe, the magistrate could already feel dread creeping down his spine. But before this could spiral further, Anna screamed, "We can't let her win. We have to fight back." "Fight?" Elizabeth scoffed, her eyes shining with contempt. "You're all trapped here under my watchful eye. You think you can save them?" Suddenly, Elizabeth's loyal guards sprang forth from the shadows, muscular men clad entirely in black, eyes glowing with fanatic devotion. Their presence shifted the atmosphere. It became clear that this was no longer a simple rescue mission. "Stand down," one of the guards barked, gripping his weapon tightly. "Get away from them," another officer shouted, voice steadied by the imminent threat. But as they braced for confrontation, Elizabeth's laughter boomed, revealing her deep-seated mania. "Every choice you've made has led you into my web. You think you can turn the tide? How deliciously naive." The tension reached a breaking point as the guards advanced, and a scuffle broke out. Officers fought bravely, trying to free the captive women even as Elizabeth manipulates the chaos around her, relishing the power she wielded. But suddenly a flash of light, a blinding white glow, appeared from the back corner of the room. "What is that?" Thompson, one of the officers, shouted, shielding his eyes. In that moment of confusion, Anna seized the opportunity. "This way, follow me." She darted toward the light, pulling the other captives with her. The officers exchanged looks. This was their moment. They charged ahead, hoping to outrun the madness. But Elizabeth's voice boomed behind them, dripping with disdain. "Run if you wish, but you can't escape the truth." As they escaped into what seemed like an adjacent corridor, the group found themselves enveloped in darkness. The screaming had subsided, and now there were eerie echoes of laughter bouncing off the stone walls. "Is it a trap?" Thompson whispered, unsure of what awaited them. Then came the twist that no one expected. They stumbled upon a secret chamber containing something much worse, a series of portraits, meticulously painted, depicting her victims, their faces forever sealed in horror. It felt like a graveyard of memories, the artist rendering each woman's expression in grotesque detail. "What kind of monster does this?" one officer gasped, appalled. Just then, Anna froze in her tracks. "Wait, I recognize that one." She pointed to a portrait, her face turning ashen. The officer squinted. "Recognize who?" "That's Mira Asterisk. She disappeared last year. She was supposed to be in the village just last month." "This can't be possible." Her voice trembled with disbelief. "It's all connected," the magistrate murmured, voice barely above a whisper. "She's been doing this far longer than we thought." But just then, a thought hit Thompson. If she's doing this, who's feeding her? Who's letting her continue? Suddenly, another guard burst into the chamber, eyes wild, yelling about reinforcements arriving. The gravity of their situation settled heavily. They were not just up against Elizabeth, but a whole network of accomplices lurking in the shadows. "Quick, in here," Anna pointed to a nearby door. The group sprinted through, desperate to find escape. But moments later, they collided with a barricade, a locked door with no visible key. "We're trapped," another officer shouted. At that moment, Elizabeth's voice echoed ominously. "Didn't you hear? You can never escape. You will become part of my collection." Thompson's heart raced as he looked around, panic surging through him. They needed a way out, and they needed it fast. Could they fight off Elizabeth's guards? And more importantly, could they survive to rescue the captives?